Hello everybody, welcome back to my studio, or welcome if this is your first time watching one of my videos. It's absolutely lovely to have you here in my studio. I'm finding making films is really helping me with my creativity. It's been a combination of lockdown, no commitments and no workshops to run, nothing else much to plan, lots of cancelled things, cancelled exhibitions, has really given me time to come into my studio and just start playing with things. And I'm really finding, as I say, making films is kind of adding into my creativity, because I'm thinking about things that I could show you that might inspire you to take your making, your stitching, perhaps in a new direction, perhaps in a way you haven't thought of doing it before. Or if you're a complete beginner, I hope that what I'm showing you will give you some ideas. And if anybody actually has any questions, please do just leave me questions down. If this is on my Facebook page, do leave me questions. If this is on my YouTube that you're watching it, then please, likewise, just leave me questions if you've got anything you'd like to know, anything technical or artistic that you'd like to know. That would be lovely to hear from you. And so this afternoon I was just kind of mulling over what I was wanting to do in the studio. I finished a really nice big piece for a friend that was a commission, and I'm really thrilled to have got that done. I've got a big piece that's an ongoing thing throughout the year, and I just wanted to play this afternoon, I thought, looking at landscapes but in a different sort of a way to my usual. The recent film I did was showing you how to do a very conventional landscape using quite conventional colours really. And this afternoon I wanted to play with some sort of different colours, perhaps not conventional landscape colours. I've got some blues here that I would often use for a seascape, but I've got lots of other lovely colours that I just thought I would like to play with. I'm quite inspired by, I'm sure many of you know that Worker Moy Mackay, who's the felt maker who does the most wonderful colourful landscapes with her felt, absolutely glorious. And there's a lovely painter in Scotland up in Dumfries, I think she still lives up there, but pardon me if I'm wrong on that one, but I did go and see her work one year, and she's called Julie Dumbarton, and she does really lovely colourful landscapes like this using the most, I don't know, just really, it's like going into the depths of your imagination or a dream to create these gorgeous landscapes. So I just thought I'd have a play this afternoon with some fabrics and see where it takes me. As you will know from watching any of my videos, the way I work is from ideas that I see all around me outside. I have landscape all around me, flowers and seed heads. The sea isn't very far away. But I tend to do quite conventional landscapes using what I call conventional colours, and I thought it would be really nice just to have a go as though it's completely from my imagination, just having a play with the fabrics, which is what I love to do. So I will turn the camera down now and we'll go and have a little look and see what we can create this afternoon. Okay, so I've turned down the camera and now we can see what I've got down here is a piece of calico. You could use any kind of base fabric that you want to really, but I like to use calico. I find it very versatile and it's fairly inexpensive to buy, which is good. This is a piece of stitch and tear, which is my stabiliser, which helps me when I'm doing my free machine embroidery. It stops the machine just eating all the fabrics when I'm sewing. So, as I said, I really want to just play with fabrics that I don't normally play with. I want to do a landscape that isn't quite so traditional. I just wanted to play with like lots of different colours. And these are the ones I've sort of selected. I've had a little pre-play just to sort of narrow it down to the sort of colours I'm going to try. And the idea is that we just, a bit like doing the seascape that I did fairly recently, it's just about playing with the fabrics that you've got. One of the first ones that I picked out was some turquoisey blues. And I was kind of thinking, well, this could be a river, it could be a lake, or it could just simply be that your landscape has got really wacky colours in it. And I think that's the thing. This is your taste. This is what your eye likes to see. What pleases your eye. What makes your heart sing when you put it down. When you put the colours together, and then you perhaps take another colour and you pop it in with them like that, and you see what the effect is. This is what I'm trying to get at. It's the playing with the fabrics until it just becomes something that you're really happy with. And there could be 1,000,001 different ways of doing this, okay? There is no right way, there is no wrong way. It's completely what's in your head, and actually obviously what fabrics you've got. So I am just literally playing with the fabrics here, and I'm just seeing what, I've got some different greens here that I'm just looking at. I've got this green which I quite like because it's got a really nice kind of pleated effect to it, and then there's this one, oops, it's got bits of blue everywhere, which is quite a nice shiny one. I'm quite into shiny fabrics at the moment. I've got a lot of shininess going on. I don't quite know where that's come from. So I'm going to try it with, I want to put some sort of thing in right at the top, and I think I had in my mind something like this sort of colour right up there, and let's just see what that does. That's not quite big enough, that piece of fabric. And let's just see if we've got something else. Oh look, here's a bit, no, that's the same as that bit. Let's try this bit, see what happens if I use this bit. This one's a bit of funny fabric, it's kind of ruckling itself up a little bit, but I'm sure I could flatten it out if I had to with my little trusty iron. So I've got this. These are all charity shop fabrics that I have acquired over the years. I have quite a big stash, I will be absolutely honest with you. Although I have to say this year, funnily enough, I'm not really buying anymore. I'm just really trying to use up what I have got. So if I start to put some pink into there, and then you just think, oh, that's really quite ludicrous, but when you sort of put it in with other things, and then you start to add perhaps some, let's get some texture in as well, you can start to say, oh, well, I quite like that, or I quite like that, or I quite like that. And eventually your eye will just go, oh, yes, that's what I want there. Just trying to find, let's try a bit of this green that I was telling you about. Where's that gone? It's over here. Here we go, let's pop that one in there. And I quite like the fact that this is a piece of wool, I don't know what it is, a bit of old blanket I think that I've acquired from somewhere, and I like it because it's a bit sort of textured. I'm not 100% sure about that green, but I might put, in fact I think I might put some pink up here somewhere. I'm not quite sure where. Maybe put it there. This can have as many layers as you like, okay? This can be as complicated or as simple as you want it to be. In my head, I've done myself a quick little sketch, which I'll just show you, which is kind of just the lines of the landscape, almost what I see out of my window, but not quite. And then I've just plonked some seed heads in front to give me some interest. So that's kind of what's going on in my head in terms of what I want to create. But obviously then it's really down to the fabrics. See, then I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, well, actually I wonder whether I prefer that green. I think I prefer that green actually. But you could, actually what I could do is I could cut that up a little bit, and then I could have it half and half like that, and then have some of the yellow going next to it. You see, you can start to create lines by placing the fabrics in different places. You start to create different lines, and this is what I like. This is why I think playing with your fabrics is just really important. So I've got this really nice piece of pink lace. This is not a very shiny piece of fabric, and I really would like it to have a bit more shine to it. So I'm just going to put that on top of there like that. This has got a quite nice edge to it where I've torn it. So I might put that one there. And let's just see. I decided I really didn't like that green. It's just a bit too strong. And I need to think about what I want to put down here. And I've got some sort of orangey colours, I think. Maybe I'll put that there. Some of them are very badly cut, and there are times when I just kind of cut them quite roughly, so I can just see what they're going to look like together, and then I might go back and trim them, or I might cut them slightly better. It just depends what's going on with my process. Obviously you don't want masses of bits sticking up. Sometimes with these are just lining fabrics, so I might take my heat gun to them and just give them a bit of heat on the edges, and that stops them fraying too much, particularly when you're going to be stitching and handling the fabrics quite a lot. So this is a bit of, I don't know what you call it, it's just like, not organza, but it's like a cotton version, a sort of a voile, and I'm just going to put that on top of there because I think that looks quite nice, mixing in with that. I've still got this very bright yellow to pop in somewhere, but again I'm not 100% sure where. If I put it there it really shouts, which I kind of like, so let's just put that there for now. And I've also got some red, but I think I want to put red in with perhaps with my seed heads. And the other thing I had was a little piece of this silver. This is lovely. This has got a really nice, oops, it's very good at catching other fabrics as well. It's got a really nice crinkle to it, which gives you sort of, it's almost like a wavy effect. So you could have it going across the land like that, or you could use it as something to do with water, perhaps something to do with sky. Sorry, this is just getting caught a bit here because these edges are quite raw, and this is quite kind of spiky. It's got like kind of spiky metallic sort of edges. So I might just put that there. I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure whether I'd rather have that. No, I think I'd rather have the yellow actually. I think I'm looking for something really sort of sock you in the face kind of colours with this. And I think I'd like to add some more texture in, so I've got various bits of textured fabrics that I've cut up. This was a shirt, which if you start to place it in different places, you can see it has a different effect. So there it sort of blends in, there it adds a nice bit of detail to a foreground, there it's kind of really wacky with that turquoise and the yellow. Up here it could be a fence going across the landscape or something like that, or it could just fit in with that bit. It could be a piece that you don't have going all the way across. It could be a piece that you cut. Let's have a look at this piece here. You could make yourself a sort of a hill-shaped piece so that it's got something like that going on with it. So you've got shapes like that coming in, but in a texture. And the stuff I really want to get in is this, which is my favourite knitted shrug fabric. I'm sorry, it is dropping bits everywhere, but I do just love it. I don't know why, I just really love it. I think it does wonderful things, and especially with when I have my embellishing machine going, it just really gets scrunched into the surfaces in a very nice fashion and adds a lot of texture, whatever you're making, whether it's a landscape or a seascape. So this bit's another bit of the same sort of shruggy type fabric, but I've actually kept the edge on there because I rather like that. I think that adds a nice line. It's almost like a hedge line, but this is all fantasy really. These colours are completely imaginative and fantasy colours, which is just what I wanted to experiment with this afternoon. I felt I've done a lot of conventional things recently, and I thought it would be quite nice just to have a bit of a play with things which are not so conventional. And one of the things I think I showed you on several of my videos is to take yourself a simple mount like this. Even if you're not going to mount your piece behind a mount, it can be awfully useful to start to see what's actually going on and where you want to, what you want to include. You see, you get a completely different look depending on what you put where. Let's just pop that out of the way for a minute because I think I would like to remove that and actually just have that there. I think that is a really nice, and maybe put that down there. Just pop that down there and swap those two around. And I think, I'm not sure whether this is going to show up very well on here, but we'll just put that there for now because I quite like it against that tangerine-y sort of colour. I've got an edge showing there, a bit of white showing through the background, which doesn't matter because I can just move everything around. So it's beginning to sing. It's beginning to sing to me. It's beginning to say, this is roughly how I want it to be, with a bit of tweaking, and then I have to work with it within the stitching, and that'll add an extra dimension to it. See, It's very different when I do that, isn't it? I really quite like that. That's beginning to have a sort of a harmony for me, even though it's got some really wacky colours going on. I really quite like that. And the other thing when you've got your mount on is you can sort of be working out what sort of size you're actually going to end up with and where your attention is going to go in your composition. So I've just cut out some different coloured pieces of possible seed heads. As you can see, I've got a red that's quite a deep red, that's a brighter red. I've got a piece of gold, and I've got a purpley bit there as well, which I quite liked. So what I would do next is just look at these. I think I might take this away again actually just for now, just whilst I'm playing with these bits of fabric, because that's getting in the way a bit. So you could be then looking at what seed head colours you're going to choose to go on here, and depending on where you actually are going to place them, where your eye is going to see them, whether they're up here or whether they're down here, as to which fabrics you would want to choose. And it might be that you do a mixture of fabrics, or it might be that I might use maybe use some of this gold either for the seed head itself, or I might use it for a stem coming down. The other thing I cut out some of this really quite wacky fabric. This has sort of got a velvety pattern on it and it's gold. And I thought actually I really quite like the way that created a seed head stalk. It's a bit lumpy bumpy here because of I haven't stitched anything down yet, so hopefully when I stitch things down it'll be easier to actually place these things on here. And obviously depending on what size and scale you're going to have going on with your seed heads and how many you're going to have, that's all part of the picture, and whether you're going to overlay them like this, or whether you're just going to have them, you could have them in a row going across like that, or whether you have them at different heights, different shapes, different sizes. This is what it's all about. This is where the playing can take you. There's no rules, there's nothing hard or fast written down about how your picture has to look. It's entirely what pleases your eye. Okay, so I feel that I need to now really perhaps get my background laid down with some stitching. See, I think probably 3 is going to be plenty in there. It may be different colours. I'm not sure that I want 3 gold ones across there, but that might not be bright enough. It might be that I'll use the red, but then that doesn't contrast very well with that. So I'm going to have a little bit more play with this, and then I will show you when I get to the stitching stage. I'll pin it all down and I'll take it over to my machine and I'll do some free machine embroidery on it, and perhaps be able to show you some of that as well. Anyway, so for now this is just really about, again, getting a box of fabrics out, picking out the colours that you think might go together, or just I literally just started with, I think I had the turquoise colour and the green, and then I started adding the sort of more rusty colours in, and then I definitely wanted some pink into the mix, which seems really contraindicatory. Is that a word? Contra, anyway, not conventional, put it that way. So, you know, it's what pleases your eye, and this afternoon I'm feeling like having an adventure and doing something a bit different. So I'll just leave it there for now, and I'll show you again when I've got some free machine embroidery going on, and we'll have a look at it again. So thanks for watching so far.